To confirm his awakening, Jack immediately took his sword to a tree stump and decisively struck it. As expected, it split in two. Although Jack still found it somewhat unbelievable, the fact remained that he had become the only person in the world with two skills. Finally, Jack could fulfill his dream of becoming an adventurer. Besides hunting monsters for bounties, he now yearned to stand beside his childhood friend again. When Jack first entered the Adventurers Guild, the arrogant blonde immediately approached to intimidate the newcomer. However, Jack didn't give him a second glance, causing the blonde to become furious and draw his sword to punish Jack. Unbeknownst to him, he had stepped onto a dead end. The once underestimated fruit farmer, Jack, simply lifted his sword lightly and blocked the blonde's full-force strike. To save face, the blonde claimed he was showing mercy and slunk away. Jack then accepted a monster hunting quest and set off with his sister to eliminate a slime with a 300 bounty. After identification, they discovered this slime was a defense specialist type, making it tough for a novice adventurer to kill. To be safe, Jack patiently circled around, planning a sneak attack. However, the slime was too alert and spotted him before he could get close. Left with no choice, Jack drew his sword, thinking his newly learned sword god skills would handle the slime in 2 strikes. Yet, in just one move, the slime was obliterated, proving Jack had underestimated the power of the sword god. Initially, his sister felt uneasy about slashing the slime, but when Jack mentioned that slime fragments could be exchanged for 10 pizzas, her demeanor changed instantly. She pulled out a small knife from nowhere and began dissecting the slime. At that moment, a group of people's cries for help echoed from afar. The blonde and his companions hadn't expected an ogre to appear in the novice plains. Faced with the attack, they could only scatter in all directions. Out of goodwill, Jack asked if they needed help, but upon seeing him, the blonde and his team immediately hatched a malicious plan, redirecting the ogre's aggression towards Jack while they fled as quickly as possible. Little did they know, the ogre, a monster feared by all three, was incredibly exciting for Jack. After all, he had just acquired his sword god skill, and defeating the ogre was what he was most looking forward to, especially since he hadn't fully unleashed his power against the slime. Considering his low defense, Jack's strategy was to dodge attacks while looking for weak points. Fortunately, the ogre wasn't very smart, and after a short time, Jack found his chance. With a powerful move, the Rift Ghost Slash, he instantly killed the ogre. The blonde and his team were stunned to witness this, but fortunately, Jack didn't do anything too extreme. Back at the guild, Jack presented the materials from killing the slime and the ogre. Initially, the receptionist was skeptical, but with the blonde's subordinates helping to explain, she started taking it seriously and went to report to the guild master. At that moment, the area outside the guild became noisy. It turned out that an S-Class team had returned, and Jack saw that the leader was his childhood friend whom he hadn't seen in days. Excitedly, he rushed forward to greet her, about to tell her that he had also become an adventurer. However, she seemed like a completely different person, claiming that Jack had mistaken her for someone else.